So what I want to do now is I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to go to the top, and I'm going to sort of follow this. So now what we have here is we have sort of a trapezoid looking part at the front, and it follows rectangularly down to the end. So what I want to do now is I'm not going to bother with that piece, because remember that piece that we have here is the top of that part on the left side. So now what we're going to do, sorry, on the right side, depending on which side you're viewing the car. So now we're going to go to this, and we're going to go back to primitives. We're going to pick this. We're going to pick white because that's the border color that I have this on right now. Now we're going to get it right to about there. Now this is going to take it all the way to the back of the spoiler, which I'm okay with. Sometimes you don't want to get that because when you go, oh shoot, I didn't want to do that. Let's redo that. I wanted to show you what the back of the car would look like. So let's bring that back. Oops, let's get that back to 0 point. Alright, so now if we go back to the rear bumper, you can sort of see that it comes out the back. I might sort of carry that over. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll figure that out as we go along. Let's go back to top. Now we're going to copy. We're going to change the color. It's orange. And we're going to make the X a little smaller so that we get the border. And we're going to copy it again. Go back to white. To make the Y a little smaller so we get the border. Then we're going to copy this part again, and we're going to make it that gray, which is the inner color, and then we're going to make the Y a little smaller again. So now we have that. Now we got to follow this in the trapezoid. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into apply vinyl shape. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pick. Now there's multiple ways of doing this. You can either do it with triangles or you can do it with the hexagon and then only use half of it. But that carries over to the other side, but we have the windshield to deal with, so actually we're going to do it with that. So we're going to take that and we're going to do this. Now we have to rotate it 45 degrees, which is the only unfortunate part. So we got to make this not quite square. We're going to have to make this like that, I think. Now, sorry, 90 degrees, not 45. I mean, you could do it that way, but then it looks stupid. Make sure that it looks like it would naturally continue that way. And as you see, like what I mean, you have the piece on the top here that goes through the windshield. You don't necessarily want that. But if we put this underneath the layer on the bottom, then it should be okay. So that looks okay. That looks fine with me. So now we're going to copy, and we're just going to follow the same color scheme that we have on the roof. So we're going to have orange here. Now we're going to make this a little smaller, and then we're going to move this back. We're not going to make it smaller vertical-wise. Just remember, we've changed the orientation, so that's fine. And then we're going to copy it again. We're going to make it white. We're going to move it back, and we're going to make the X a little smaller. Actually, the way I want it, I'm actually going to move this a little smaller. Get that border color showing a little more. Then we're going to get to that gray again. make that a little smaller, and then move. Actually, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this a little more fun. So I'm going to do this, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this. I'm going to make this the orange color. Let's move this down here. I'm going to make that move across the top. So I'm going to make this guy really tiny so that it lines up here, which it looks like that might be the size I need. There, that looks like it. That's the size I need it to be. Alright, so that's how I'm going to do that. But now I have to, so you sort of see that the thickness doesn't quite match. So now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go back to the top here. But first I'm going to group this thing, and I'm going to set it back because it starts... Oh no, never mind, that's just how it looks. Alright, so I'm going to do that. Oh, make sure that this is level first, actually, or center. And that looks like that's center. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that to the bottom. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to make this a little wider so that width-wise it matches. I'm going to go back to the orange one. I'm going to do the same thing. So the thickness of the white matches, and then that actually is almost. That's almost not. That's not bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the white, and I'm just going to make it a little wider. And that actually looks good. That looks pretty dang close. So now that's done. So now I'm going to group that. And I'm actually going to just move this down there as well. And I'm going to group all that together. So now that looks like that needs to look. Now for those pesky headlights. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into vinyl shape. I'm going to pick the circle. That has to be orange with the color scheme. Now I'm going to move it above the headlight. I'm going to just sort of get the shape. Unfortunately, you can't really get the full. Now sometimes you can hit it like right on, and sometimes you don't get it right on. Sometimes with these cars the headlights will be a little oblong. Sometimes they're not exactly. Hold on, what's my... Sometimes you make them exaggerate, then you can kind of get the angle that you need. Because when you move it, alright, that looks fine. And then you just sort of got to get the thing right, and then you got to align it right in the center. That looks good, actually. Actually, no, it needs to be a little thicker. Now, that looks fine. Let's copy that, and let's go back to the right side. Let's put it there. Now, you have to change the angle again. So now let's go back over here, and let's put this guy up here. Now again, you have to get it so that it all aligns right. So this looks like I'm going to have to do... I have to make this guy a little... Okay, hold on. No, I want it to be like that. I'm going to have to change, not the skew, spin, a little like so. Oh, wrong way. This is when you have your right, or your up and your side mixed up. It gets a little confusing sometimes. Oh, I just need to change the spin a little bit. That looks pretty close. It's not going to be perfect. Well, that's close enough. Alright, so we've got that piece now. That's great. So now we gotta copy that circle on the on the top, I mean, to the other side, which is actually fairly straightforward. So now all you need to do is you need to copy it, and then you gotta paste it over. Then you go to change position, and because the car is symmetrical, we gotta look at the Y value, because you're looking at the car 90 from where the default view is. So you're going to look at your Y value and it's 132.5. Now we got to move it to negative 132.5. So let's do that while keeping the same X value. The X value is very important. Then we go to spin and see that it's 12.1 from vertical on our way. So we got to do negative 12.1, except you can't get negative 12.1, it will start from 360 and work its way back down. So 360 minus 12.1 is going to be 57.9. 357.9, I mean. So that's what we got to change it to. Sorry, 347.9. So that's what we got to do. 3, because that's 10. That'd be 11, 12.1. And see how it looks pretty much the same? So now that's what we're going to leave that as for now. I'm not going to bother grouping those two together. So now let's go to the front bumper. I want to get some of those grilled accents in. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to make this too bad I can't see from underneath there. Now what I'm going to do is, actually what I'm going to do is going to make that a circle. I'll make this a really flat circle. That looks just about right. Now I'm going to make another circle. Do the same thing, but the opposite. So I'm going to make this a really flat circle. I'm going to change the spin this way. So I'm going to change that. Actually, I'm going to make this a little thick. Why am I changing skew? I didn't mean that. But I don't want it to show on the sides here all that much. Sometimes you got to. But doing that, it looks like that. So what that tells me to do is I got to change the spin up. And then make the size a little different. Actually, what that really tells me is I need to go back to this first one and I need to make this a little thinner. So that looks fine. Let's go back to the side part. I need to change the spin. Let's make this a little taller. Not too terribly tall. Actually, what I need to do is I need to do this, copy this. And what I need to do actually is I'm going to change this guy, change the angle here, and actually I might just change the skew up a little bit. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, but then I'm going to change the shape to a square. Then that way it keeps the same scaling. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into change position. I'm going to make it a little smaller. Actually, a little longer like that. And then I'm going to change the skew. I'm going to change the skew this way, and then I'm going to go back and spin it back that way. There, that looks right. That way it shows up minimally on this side. You're not really going to see it all that much. So that's perfect. So now we're going to copy these two pieces onto the other side. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy those two, bring them over. Now, we did the same thing we did on that top with the piece around the headlights. We see the X value this time because that's how we're looking at the bumper, is that's that face on. So we're going to move this over to negative 58.5 while keeping the same Y value. And then we're going to go back to our spin. That is 326.8. Which, doing some maths here, is 33.2. So that's what we got to change the spin to, 33.2. Alright, then we're going to take this piece here, do the same thing. So we got to change this 64.5, so we're going to be negative 64.5. Make sure that the Y value didn't change, negative 3.5. Negative 3.5, perfect. Alright, then we have our spin, it's 13.3, so that's going to be 46.7 when we change the spin back. Now, when you're mirroring it, you have to change the skew as well, so you have to negative the skew. So the skew is going to be negative 97. And that's all we need to do. And there we go. Perfect. So I'm going to group that. Now, do I want to get the sides? Probably should. So what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to copy that over and just going to see if it's going to work that way. Oh, actually what we need to do is actually a lot simpler than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup this. I'm going to delete the right side of this. And I bring these two over. Now, because of the way that this works, this actually isn't that bad. Because the what you can do on the bumper, it ends, because that anything more to the right of that is actually on the left side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to actually just take this guy. I'm just going to make this guy narrower. We're going to have to change the spin up a little bit. Working on these weird angles proves a little difficult at times. And then we're going to take this guy, we are going to not change color, we are going to change the position. We're going to change the angle, like so, and we're going to move this up. I actually have to change that. We're going to make you a little fatter, but we're going to shorten you up. We're going to keep moving you. Working on the weird angles, you have to be really, really careful. That looks not quite there. Because I want it just to show up on the one side, but it looks like it's not going to do that. It's one of those things where that piece here it's going to get mirrored on the other side of the piece. So actually what I need to do is I need to change that piece to a square or a rectangle or whatever, because it's going to end up looking like that. Then do the same thing. So we're going to change the span up. Ooh, definitely shorten you up. Make it a little taller. Actually, I might need to change the skew up a little bit. There we go. That actually works. Yeah, that works. Better. Well, good enough. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy this. So first I'm going to do that. I am going to... There's only 4 pieces I needed. So take these guys. I'm going to group. Now I'm going to move all these guys over. So one at a time. Do it one at a time. So we're going to do this. We're going to go -89 on this guy. We're going to go spin 69.1. So that's 290.9. Actually, it's off of 180. So it's actually 110.9. Change the skew to 45. That's that one. Now we're going to move this piece over. Maybe 106.5. Uh, 4.8, which is 155.2. This guy here, 142. 326.8, which is 33.2. So that's going to be 146.8. So I'm going to need to change this size to 146. Oh wait, no, sorry. It's 33.2 is what I need to change it to. Alright, and now that looks the same on both sides. So now that part's done. And we have the side. That's pretty much how this car is going to look. Now to change the actual colors. So notice how I still haven't transferred anything over to the left side yet. I'll get to that in a second, because we still need to put all the sponsors and stuff on the right side, then convert it all over to the left side, which then we'll have to get this piece on the back bumper to get aligned as well. So let's do that. Let's do the right side, all the sponsors in. But first, like I said, we're going to change the color. So what we're going to do now is we're going to ungroup this guy. We're going to collect all the white pieces. And we're going to make them green. Then we're going to take those pieces, unhighlight them. I'm going to take all the orange pieces. And we're going to make them black. Then take the gray pieces, which those should be the only gray pieces. Yep. Take those gray pieces and also make it black. I think. Trying to see if there's any other color that might pop that might. Actually, I'm going to make it an off black. I'm not going to make it like a black black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it third from the bottom. It's going to be that color. Then I'm actually going to change this gradient to that color as well. Actually, oh, never mind. I'll keep it black. But I think what I might do though. No, never mind. I'm gonna keep it like that because it shows up more green just because of the colors that I chose. But that's okay. Now let's go change those colors. So I said white was green. Yes, white was green. With the exception of these headlights, guys, I'm going to keep the same color scheme that I just said. So, orange is going to be black. And then the gray was going to be the off black, which is this guy here. So this is going to be green. Let's go to the rear bumper. That's going to be green. And that's going to be black. Yep, that looks good. Again, I'm going to group those. Let's go to the rear front bumper, and because this is all the same color, this is all going to be green. Actually, what I can do is I'm just going to group that now. Alright. So now everything's the same color, or the color scheme that I want. Now we're going to start to add in the sponsors. Now, first things first. I'm going to load the 44 up. So what I did there, actually what I should show you is how I did that. When you go into new layer, when you're in the car, you can go to apply vinyl shape, apply manufacturer decal, which are pre-given sponsors. Basically all you can do is change the scaling of them. You can't change the color of them, unfortunately. Or add a layer group. So what I'm going to do is load a layer group, and it'll come up with all the ones that I have done already. So I can pick from any of the ones that I've done before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 44 that I just made. I'm going to change the color to the green. I'm going to make the size. Again, this is all based off of the livery decals. I have to put a number on the side of the car. So I'm going to put it there. Now I'm going to go to my Hue Gaming, which is the logo. Itself is the logo. And it's good to do the whole logo first, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup. I'm going to delete the box and the 44. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to position these guys so that they sort of align. Then I'm going to take QDEC and do this. Make it a little bigger. Take the gaming, make it a wee little bigger. Do that. Actually, that needs to be a little bigger. And then that needs to be a little smaller. Alright, so there's my primary. Now I'm just going to keep adding some of the stuff that I have from before, just to make it look like it's populated. So I'm just going to pick appropriate sponsors that I have already. Yeah, there's no tire sponsor or anything like that. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring you down here. Oh, alright. Actually, no, I'm not going to put you there. I'm going to put you at the front. I guess I can put you down there. So we got my Pirelli logo. I'm going to take the background out, and then I'm going to change the red to the green. Load up the layer group. Get you. I'm going to change the color of you to the green. Try to put you somewhere interesting. Actually, no, I'm going to put you up here. Yep, that works. Alright, let's see. What else can we put? Yeah, I should do that one. This is a club I belong to, XP Racing. On Forza, anyway. Oh no, crap. That's not what we said it was going to be. The border was. Alright, we said the border was going to be black. That's okay. And this was going to be. Like that. Alright, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to flip this over onto the left side. Now I don't have any of these manufacturer decals which are already preset, so we have a whole bunch of these. And basically what happens when we mirror these over, these get copied exact, so you don't have to re-flip them. But when we have all of these custom ones, unfortunately we can't do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy all these. Now I'm going to go to the left side. Now there's a handy little insert all from right/left side. Basically what that's going to do is that's going to mirror everything from the other side of the car and put it on the current side of the car. So now we have all this stuff. If we had, like say, a bar going across the back bumper there, we'd have to get it aligned. But it should theoretically be aligned, but as I know from experience, it's usually either moved over a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, or a little bit down, or a little bit up. It depends. But notice how when I've mirrored everything, everything's backwards. So the 44 is backwards, Huda Gaming's backwards, XP Racing's backwards, Bulliva's backwards, and Pirelli's backwards. We gotta fix that. So that's why I copied everything. So basically I'm gonna dump everything over to this side. I'm going to unhighlight, and then I'm going to delete all the mirrored stuff, and then just put everything back into place. Oops. Didn't want to change the size, I wanted to change the angle. Doing this is really, it takes a while to get everything lined up and perfect the way you want it. But in the end, it is more than worth it. Alright, so we have our sides done. Now we're going to go to the top. I'm going to group all of, unhighlight. I'm going to group all this together. Oh, that's right. Notice now I have to get this piece to the other side now, so I'm going to group that. Oh yeah, I gotta pick one. So now we can change location. 239. Spin. It's 356.1, so that's 3.9. So that's what I'm going to do. Change this to 3.9. Then we're going to change the skew to 1.2. And that should be roughly aligned. Now this is what I mean. Notice how it doesn't quite exactly line up perfectly. That is because the stuff from the other side didn't quite line up right. So I'm going to go back into left side. We're going to pick this and that. Actually, we're going to take Pirelli as well. Now we're going to go position layers. Now I'm basically going to zero in on this because I know that this is that the top part that we just did is in the right spot, but now I basically got to change. And of course, like I guessed, it's going to be a little bit down from what it actually is. So that's perfect. That's fine. It does that. I don't know why. But anyways, okay, now so that's fixed. Alright, so now we have our our stuff, so I'm going to group that. I'm going to group that, and I'm going to group all that together. Alright, so now let's get the sponsors in. Again, I got to get the number on the side. Oops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. And I'm going to put you over here. I'm going to make it a little smaller. You look okay there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go load layer group. I'm going to load you. I'll take you out. I'm actually going to move you down here. Get you aligned. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you, ungroup, ungroup. I'm going to delete you guys. I'm just basically going to make my small version. Actually, I'm going to take you guys out. I'm going to do this. Do that. Make you a little bigger. I'm going to move you back up here. Put you center first off. That looks okay to me. The front bumper, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy you, bring you to the front, do that. Alright, so then I make you level. Stupid turn signal's gotta be there. Alright, I'll do that then. I'll move you right in the middle. I'll do that. Yes, I gotta change that. Alright, now to make this equal, what I got to do... Oh crap. Alright, I gotta ungroup you guys first. Then go to just change position. So we were 2.9. So we're gonna go to that. Oops. Not 8. 9. Then the size, I basically got to invert y, because remember that we've made this that way, so that the gradient shows up on the other side. So we got to go negative 97. Alright, now we got to do the same thing on this side. Make you negative 97. Change you to 2.9. Now we can group you. Then change position, we gotta do it to negative 184.5. Crap, I moved it in the Y direction. Let's try this again. Negative 184.5. That matches up perfectly. Alright, now for the pièce de résistance, let's Let's do that. Not required, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'm going to take you, put you on the back, and that's done. That's how I want it to look. Oh, sorry, not quite done. I forgot, I gotta put one. A view here. Where's that circle? There you are. Fudgeroni. Alright, I gotta change color. Which means I gotta do the same thing on the other side. Luckily I caught that. Otherwise I would have been lost to the world. Gotta make sure that it went in perfect. It didn't, so I gotta change that. That's close enough. Alright. Now it's done! Yay! Except not. Boo! Got one more thing to do. Add the window banner. So now I have a pre-existing one from the Viper Cup that we did. So I'm just going to get you the right size. Just about that. I'm going to delete you. I'm going to make you white. And I'm going to grab the Tor URL. The Online Racing Association is what Tor stands for. Go there if you want it, if you're interested in any online racing on the Xbox. Potentially face off against me as well, depending on the competition and the time. Okay, now we're officially done for reels. I might change the color of the rims. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. Alright. Okay, that's weird. Alright, anyways, I gotta go to normal then. And change the colors of the wheels. And there we go. Okay, now I will save. Oh, no. Apply to car and save. And then I gotta go back into apply decals. Hit save. Actually, I could have done that from the other screen. Boo. And now we're officially done. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that I didn't bore you too much. And I hope this helps a lot. When you're doing your own thing, you just basically got to take it on a case-by-case basis. You got to know the vinyls. Of course, I've been doing this since Forza 1 came out eons ago, so I've gotten a hang of doing all of it. But that said, I'm not like a total whiz kid who can recreate people's faces in the game, which you can do, and I have seen people do it, which involves a totally like beyond level of expertise in the game. So that's basically Forza Painting 101. If you want to see more of this, just let me know in the comments below, and hopefully we can get all this figured out for you guys. Alright, it's been Steven from Heat Up Gaming, and I will catch you on the flip side.